Hey, it is Matt Mosley, the Matt Mosley Show. It's 1 to 3. Got a lot of people yesterday who were signing up. They're signing up. Oh, Scotty, sorry. Let's Swingler's with me as always. Let's put some light on the topic. Let's get a little more light. And let me take off my glasses. Just look at you guys, see what you're up to today. Good to be with you. I've been up and down the road today. I am delighted to tell you that tomorrow we will be having the show. We'll have a sit down with what a week to do it. We've got and he's traveling because he's got to get to Dallas for Texas OU weekend. But the most legendary OU coach of them all, and that would be the living legend Barry Switzer, will be stopping by the Mosley Show. So we'll get that, and we'll decide when we want to share that. But we're gonna hopefully catch up with Coach tomorrow, and then we may be sharing that with you on Friday to get ready for Texas OU. And I know Scotty's very excited about that. I know this is going to be fun. Scotty is, his 1 week off from Baylor football. We'll probably try to watch as much football as you can and spend that whole day just kind of holed up. It's something we don't get to do that often. I will be traveling to see my daughter at Texas A&M, and so I'll be down there for the Ags and the Florida Gators get it on at 6 o'clock, I believe, Saturday evening, and so there'll be the big build up to that. You know, Scotty, every day now seems to be, or every week, the blackout operation. Every school has to, what's Baylor going to wear this week? Are they going to wear the gold? It's been happening for a while now, but my gosh. And so I think A&M Saturday's going with some throwbacks, maybe to the 70s or 80s with the white helmet, with the real white and maroon look. It's not a bad look. I don't think it's a bad look. I think it's better than the black because teams that wear the black, sometimes you're like, well, that's not really part of who you are. So this is does have some heritage. And Scotty, I did educate myself on this, the Texas Tech bevel. They're going to level the bevel and this Texas Tech. And so this new rebrand logo that Texas Tech is doing with their tees, the block tees, I feel a little bit better about it because I think they did this. This is more of a retro thing than I understood it to be. They did something like this in the 70s. So in some ways, the flat double T, it's not completely new to the Tech people. I would say Tech people, Scotty, are about 50-50 on this deal, from what I can tell. And maybe it's a little different than that, but just because I think you get used to how the bevels look, and then all of a sudden it's not there, and so it may be cleaner, but it's certainly not what people are used to from Texas Tech. The bigger issue in my mind is not so much the bevels. Tech people, Scotty, seem to be indicating that the color is different. Like it's a different blend of red. And if I don't know if that's the case or not. If that is the case, that's weird. I mean, it's always weird. And then some people say it looks like Temple. It looks like the Temple tee. That's been some of the complaints.
I've seen both of those criticisms, and I believe I agree with them both, actually. It is definitely a different shade of red.
Okay, good. Scotty is able to walk us through because Scotty has a little bit of a flair for this kind of design, and the fact that we always have nice graphics, that's because Scotty's able to kind of do all that. And so he has a bit of a feel for when these teams are trying to do some different things. So it just, I don't know. I mean, the thing you have to say about, like, the SMU screwed up that whole pony up thing, and they didn't realize their fan base liked it as much as they did. And so they had a lot of backlash and a lot of backfire. I'll say this. People may hate it, but the Texas Tech thing, especially at a time when Texas Tech is now top 10 in the country, number 9 in the country. It's kind of a fun thing to talk about. And what I didn't understand is the helicopter, the AD, this AD is suddenly, and I don't know it's because they have so much money now or something, but Scotty, you know how Baylor tried to get Mac because Dave Aranda is so quiet and so not much of a media guy that Mac used to go on with me a lot, with David, like every week. And I think Baylor finally was like, well, should we have our AD speaking for the football program more than the head coach? Probably not. So they've kind of scaled that back a little bit. But this Tech AD, Kirby Hocutt, he's suddenly like active on social media, calling the Houston game a home game for Tech. And then he was like leaving the field in a helicopter to level the bevel. I guess what they were trying to do is show the new logo. I don't know why he was in a helicopter, but why wouldn't you have like your head coach or, you know, your star quarterback or somebody? Really? Is your AD going to be like is he the new face of the program? I mean, I'm shocked they didn't use Cody Campbell. Cody Campbell has become as big a face of that program as anybody. And so, but remember, Scotty, the Big 12 now runs through Lubbock because they are 2-0 in the conference. And they did win an outright conference title in 1955. By the way, I don't even think that was in the SWC. I don't, was Tech in the SWC 1955? I don't know that they were. I thought they came a little later than that. I do know they were in there in the 60s because my dad sacked a certain Tech quarterback named Tom Sawyer. That's right. Parents' Day weekend, circa 1968. That was Big John Mosley was a sack artist in that game. Had 2 sacks of Tom Sawyer. That's more than old Mike has been doing. Did you see that stat, Scotty? That was a funny one. Like that the receiver for the Bengals had more tackles. I guess having to tackle people on like people returning interceptions and stuff. He has more tackles than Micah does this year. Said Micah has 4 tackles. The receiver for the Bengals has 5 tackles on the season. So anyway, and speaking of the Bengals, Joe Flacco will start this week. And so he left the Browns, and you think, well, by process of elimination, Dylan Gabriel's now the starter for Cleveland. Flacco's gone. I mean, doesn't Shador have to be the backup, right? Not so fast, my friends. Don't forget that they have Bailey Zappi, I believe, on the roster. And Scotty, they've refused to call Shador, designate him as the backup quarterback. Have you ever seen an organization like, I'm not going to get into why this is or if it's Dion's fault or, you know, who it is in an organization that doesn't like him. But they don't like him. They hate this kid. I mean, again, and he may be, I don't know what he's like behind closed doors. I don't know what he's like in practice. I don't know. He did the weird thing where he didn't use his voice. He mouthed the words to an interview when again, some people got real caught up in that. I did not. But that organization is going out of their way not to really make him comfortable. Like, if they wanted to, there are ways that they could say, hey, we love this kid. Hey, Shador, I mean, you know, you can take care of your own, and they're not really doing that, which, again, we should have known when the GM and the head coach, when they drafted him and they sat there looking like they were in pain, they might have not loved that pick. We have footage of this.
I mean, those reports came out immediately during the draft, right? That this was a an owner thing, and that player personnel were not pleased that you take Dylan Gabriel, and 2 rounds later you take Shadir Sanders. So there's certainly some biases, some bitterness, some disappointment, I think, that goes into this. But let's not kid ourselves, Matt. They're playing coy. If Dylan Gabriel were to go down in the first series Sunday, it is going to be Shadir Sanders. I mean, come on. Like, do we really think they're going to trot Bailey Zappi out there? Frankly, if they think Shadir is that bad, the best thing they could do would be to trot him out there. And if sure enough, if he backpedals into 4 sacks and throws an interception, then you can shrug and say, well, look, we told you he wasn't that good. The worst thing they could do, frankly, is keep him on the bench. Because then there's going to continue to be this drama. So I think it's a non-story to me. I think they're playing coy. If Gabriel goes down, or if Gabriel throws 3 picks, they're going to put Shadir in.
All right, I kind of want to put a bet on it with you. I'll because I'm not as sure as you. I think there's an intense dislike, and I don't know what this kid has done other than just act goofy with the media. And that's just immaturity, but it's not. I mean, whatever he did, racing his car going 90 or whatever, was worse than what he did to the media that day. Okay, Scotty. By the way, are you wearing a sweatshirt? Isn't it like 95 out? Is that a dad? Is that a dad? Oh,
this is my dad sweatshirt. It's the first day I've ever worn it. I got it for Father's Day.
Okay, cool. I think
that's
fair.
That's me, and that's Marigold right there.
Is it an actual likeness of you guys, or is this just a dad thing you can buy off?
It is from a real photo of us. Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Okay. I wish we could throw in there. I saw. Wait, are you saying your daughter's name on camera? I just wanted to make sure I heard you.
As soon as I said it, I kind of backpedaled, like, so we can just leave it.
Okay. I won't say her name again, but I got to see pictures the other day, and she is just the cutest thing in those cheeks. Yeah. And I think, got some Scotty Swingler eyes, and
she does.
She does. Yeah. But a good combination of her parents, and what a cutie, man! Wow. I meant to mention that to you. I got to see some pictures, so that was good. Okay, Scotty, let's hit the breaking news sounder, please. I like this. Even when it's not breaking news, I may ask you just to keep doing that. CNB, Central National Bank, thank you very much. Thank you, Scotty. Scotty's at the bank right now. Or excuse me, thank you, Brian Fonville. He's at the bank right now, just watching this. Look at all these things I have behind me today. Oh, Scotty, as of Friday, we'll have the 4K, we'll have the beautiful sound, we'll have all the things that people have grown accustomed to with the Mosley Show. We'll be back in business probably as early as Friday afternoon show. We may be a little delayed Friday in that we need to set some of that up. And of course, that's when we'll probably want to share our Switzer interview. So who knows? It may work out, but we'll be back to our normal Mosley in 1080p, the sound, the mic, everything that you expect from a high level show like this, a high level program. Okay, here is the breaking news. This is from Andrew Jones of 247 Sports, 247sports.com, an outlet owned by CBS, I believe. And he is reporting that there are potential exit strategy discussions that have occurred this morning at UNC involving Belichick. Scotty didn't even know if they're going to make it to the season. I think I've been saying, I mean, I've been kind of on this train too. I don't know how long this thing's going to go, and could he get fired during the season? And it says it doesn't mean Belichick will be fired, but preliminary conversations, quote, preliminary conversations about the possibility have occurred. What a disaster this is. And this is one first heard on the Mosley show. I think people were kind of shocked even to hear us say that he could get fired during this season. Even the people who knew how badly this was going thought, well, they'll let him coach out the season. We felt otherwise. He also, this reporter went on to say, he's quoting an unnamed source. He says, there are many other violations that have occurred, many on the recruiting front. Goodness gracious. Reports emerged as an assistant coach was suspended for providing extra benefits to player families and that players were selling free tickets they'd received for games. Now, that report we had the other day. And so you're not supposed to do that. They sent a thing to the players saying you're not supposed to do that. To think this doesn't go on at other places, we'd be crazy. Sure it does. But right now the spotlight is on UNC. Jones, this reporter, goes on to say, I don't think it's a lock that Belichick coaches the Cal game. What? Scotty, the Cal game will be played in Berkeley in only 2 days. That's a Friday night game that'll kick off at 9:30 our time. 9:30 our time. Oh, the old UNC Cal rivalry. Oh, you never know what will happen when those two. This weekend, you've got Cal UNC and Texas OU. Two of the big ones. Whoa. This thing needs to happen in a hurry. And that's big. That is really, really big. As we kind of monitor all this with that. I mean, Scotty, all this stuff's happening. This wasn't even how we were going to open the show because we got some other stuff to react to. I'll tell you what we'll do, Scotty. If we want to, we can lead Campus Confidential with that other big thing we were going to talk about. And that I'll be fine with that because you have some thoughts. I know that some interesting parallels to a story we're going to tell about Arch Manning and about the coverage of him and about something that has gotten completely out of hand. And it's not often that the two of us are going to be on here defending the Longhorns. And just the other day, I was making fun of Sark for some of his whining and, oh my gosh, nobody else has to play. You know, they got to go to the swamp and got to go to Ohio State. Okay. All right. Hey, take it up with your AD. If you didn't like going to Ohio State, take it up with Chris Del Conte. Don't take it up with the rest of us. Your fan base doesn't care. You think your fan base is like, well, poor old Sark had to go to Ohio State and then he had to go to the swamp. As Scotty brought up, guess who did not have trouble at the swamp? The old South Florida Bulls. The South Florida bleeping Bulls. They went out there, the swamp, had a big time, and beat them. And then, of course, Texas like, oh man, we got to go to the swamp. That's tough. That's tough. We did well to even get beat 29-21. You were ranked number one in the country. I know you didn't ask for it. I know you weren't the one who ranked them that high. But the folks got together and they said, we're going to put you number one in the country. Now unranked. Penn State, right up there in the top 5. Hello, Nittany Lions. How about why don't we put you up there about number 3 in the country? How's that sound, James Franklin? Unranked. Unranked at this point. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Scotty, do we have anybody else that's unranked now that was started the year at a very high? Notre Dame, are they unranked?
State.
Penn
State.
Oh, I just said that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Notre Dame's still ranked.
Really?
I'm not sure any other super high ones have dropped out. We can discuss this later if you want, and maybe even tomorrow's show.
Florida
I
was
know that
probably
Texas
ranked. Florida was probably ranked, and I think after they beat Baylor, Auburn might have gotten ranked. And so all those
Auburn was
teams were
ranked, I
unranked.
think, 2
Yeah.
weeks after they beat Baylor for
Yeah.
a brief period, but never high. You guys are highly ranked. If you're ranked
Yeah.
20 something, that really. South Carolina dropped out of there for a little bit, but I think they've crept back up. The game that intrigues me and will be way more interesting to me, this won't surprise you, than Oklahoma, Texas, is you've got a top 10 matchup at Alston Stadium, Indiana traveling to Oregon. And probably the two best quarterbacks in the country so far, Mendoza and Moore, going at it.
There are two programs that you've really thrown your weight behind, and you're not a man who weighs a lot, but you carry a big stick.
Thank you.
I would say the two teams that you've gotten the most behind, BYU and Indiana. And Indiana had one test this year, and they crushed Illinois. They passed that test. They had another test where they kind of flopped around for a while and then got it together. And I was getting ready to give you a hard time, but they got it together in that game and they pulled away. This is a monster they're getting ready to face.
Huge monster. You're correct.
These are the Ducks. These are the Ducks. And when we talk about the greatest coaches in college football right now, I'm sorry, you got to put Lanning in there with Ryan Day and the big boys.
I understand why you say that, and I know that's someone you've thrown your weight behind several times in the last 2 weeks. I think he's like the very top of the second tier for me. I think when you win a national championship, you're in a different category.
Kirby, Dan Lanning.
Yeah. See, to me, Kirby, Ryan, Dabo, those guys are in a tier of their own because they've won a national championship.
Yeah.
Lanning can get there this
year. Right. I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe they need to he needs to get that credential behind him. But Lord knows, if I'm starting a program and I can go pick whoever I want to pick, I'm not picking my man Dabo over
by the way,
in a million years. Yeah.
I put Lanning.
But what he's accomplished, okay, I'll give you that.
Lanning and Marcus Freeman, I think, would headline that very A- tier for me, where they're just a championship away from being all time.
Let me add one to that tier. The great Mike Elko.
Oh my! I'm gonna quit your show. I'm gonna walk off your show, Matt. Stop it, sir. You are
Mike Elko. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable.
By the way, just to correct you though, the only time I've said anything about BYU is on that one Green and Gold Game Day show when we were talking about the Big 12.
You went crazy. You got a helmet. So once you have, even though it was one big reaction,
listen,
you came across as a huge BYU guy, at least on
the two teams outside of Waco that I've thrown my weight behind, and I picked both of them to make the playoff in my preseason playoff bracket that I did on Pete's show. Indiana, yes. Georgia Tech is going to win the ACC. I'm sticking with it.
I need to go back to the tape and make sure that was a preseason thing for you, and not.
I'll send you the link.
Opening. Okay, I don't need it right now. You can send me the link later tonight. Okay, we do have some Campus Confidential coming up. There was one more point I wanted to make on those teams, but I tell you what, we'll start Campus Confidential because we've got a lot to say about Arch Manning, the way he's being covered, and a real idiotic, and I know the guy who wrote it, I've known him for years, and just an inappropriate and idiotic coverage. Okay, I'm not saying you can't say, that the guy has played poorly and that the guy has not met expectations. But what was written about Arch Manning went too far. we discuss next.